Good morning, Hannah. It's Sunday. Wait, Hannah? Yeah, Jake's not doing the weekly videos anymore. Ah. Sorry, Jake. I guess that's just how the way it is. I don't think that formed a proper coherent sentence. But at least we got to see a really cute kitten. Hannah, your kitten is freakishly adorable. That thing should be put on like adorable watch for things that are dangerously adorable. I would probably do almost anything just to squeeze that kitten. And hopefully not kill it because it's too adorable to die. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about a relative of Hannah's kitten called the lion, which you wouldn't think is related to Hannah's kitten because Hannah's kitten is small, fuzzy, and adorable, and lions are big, fuzzy, and scary. Why am I going to be talking about lions? Well, specifically, I'm going to be talking about the lion's habitat and the fact that the media and some other stuff has made it seem like it's not what it is. I'm going to be talking about the fact that lions do not live in jungles. And that really frustrates me that people think that they do. Because, first of all, watch The Lion King. I mean, for God's sake, The Lion King got it right. And Disney is not generally known for its scientific accuracy. So yeah, if The Lion King got it right, you have no excuse to not know that lions do not live in jungles. I mean, the closest thing that lions get to jungles are really dry forests, and that really doesn't fit the common definition of a jungle as, you know, a nice green place with rain. So why don't lions live in jungles? Well, first of all, I'm going to give you some additional scientific proof. So, lions, first of all, their coloration is this. I mean, they're light brown. They're tan at best. They do not live in jungles because they cannot blend into jungles. So why would they live in jungles with that coloration? Also, lions are the only social cat. I mean, the cat that lives together in large, giant groups of lion. So many lions. So, large groups of giant felines do not work well with crowded jungles. They just don't mix. The only way you can be social in a jungle is if you're monkeys, or ants, or any other variation of insect. Lions are too big to be social in a jungle. It's not a place for lion prides. They work better out in, like, open savannas, like The Lion King. Watch The Lion King, and you will understand why lions do not live in jungles. But I suppose they didn't do too great on the savannah either. I mean, they can get trampled by wildebeest herds, or killed by other lions. Now, the reason why most people think this, at least, why I think most people think this, is because in kids shows, when you're really, really little, you get taught that lions live in jungles by kids shows, and because you have no one else to teach you that lions don't live in jungles, you somehow think that lions live in jungles. And I mean, some people just quote it out of nowhere, like, the lion is the king of the jungle, because a jungle is a symbol of a wild place, of wildness, and lions, apparently. And also, I think the origination of this is probably some random European explorer going to a jungle somewhere and seeing a tiger, and they're like, oh, it's a large feline! And they apparently thought it was a lion because Europeans are bad at distinguishing between lions and tigers, but then again, they were lions in Greece, so that doesn't really make sense. Oh well. I mean, it could have been that too, because anyways, we thought that there were dragons in Eastern Asia for a large portion of history, which is really disappointing that there aren't dragons in Eastern Asia. I wish there were dragons in Eastern Asia. I wish there were dragons, period. I am sort of demonizing the media here, but they do get stuff right. The Lion King. I've also quoted that so many times in this video. It's not even funny anymore. I don't think it's funny anymore. But there are also other stuff that the media gets right about science, and is doing it increasingly more often. I was watching a video the other day, they were talking about how the recent release of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I have yet to watch, has a lot of science in it. There is a ton of science in Spider-Man, and I mean, it's not the thing you normally think would be scientific, at least truthfully scientific, because one does not get superpowers by getting bitten by a genetically modified spider. Or any spider. I mean, at best, Peter Parker would have a giant spider bite on his neck, which would be really unpleasant. But apparently it got a lot of the other scientific aspects right, and for a lot of the movie, they apparently had, like, scientific consultants with them to tell them that this is how the science works. You should do this. Science. Good. Do. stuff. And generally, in movies nowadays, we're getting better at putting science into movies in the correct manner, rather than just saying stuff like reverse the polarity. Star Trek reference. I actually didn't know that Star Trek reference. I found it somewhere. I can't remember where. I'm not a Trekkie. Star Wars. All the way. And that's pretty much it for today. Trevor, I will see you tomorrow. DFTBA.